because the food sits in your intestines. It sits in your stomach. Food uses about 4 hours in the stomach sac before it moves. Now, if you have eaten something like eba and go to sleep, there is no way it's going to move properly in your intestines. So at the end of the day, even the little glucose, the glucose that you absorb from the eba, will get converted to glycogen and get stored in the liver. And that's why you have this abdominal weight all over the place.
Because abdominal weights, people we get to hit 3 fufu.
Exactly, at night, and they'll just go straight to sleep. In the olden days, you know, our forefathers were very intelligent. They would eat heavy in the morning. They would walk to the farm. They would walk over 5 kilometers to the farm in the morning.
But most of the work we do now is now sedentary lifestyle.
It's now sedentary, so we should adjust our diet to our sedentary lifestyle. We shouldn't be eating heavy anymore, because the moment you eat heavy, the body is designed to make use of sugar. It's like a fuel. It's like buying fuel in your car and then packing it. So why did you put the fuel? You understand? So when you consume food, sugar is fuel for our body. So when you take too much of sugar and then you just sit back, that's why there's a lot of diabetes all over the town. You have obesity. So it's a major issue. It's becoming a dilemma. So dietary education is something that we need to do more vigorously with our clients these days.
Now let us look straight into how we can use our plants to treat or manage pie. We have with us okay, let me allow you to do the introduction.
Okay, this is just a home remedy that we can make at home by ourselves, and I hope that viewers at home can identify these plants. If you cannot, what I'm holding on my right is known as ocimum. It's known as the basil plant. Some people call it saint's leaf. In Yoruba, it is known as efinrin ile. And then this one is bitter leaf, Vannonia amygdalina. That's ewuro. In Igbo, I happen to have learned that is known as onugbu. Now, these two plants are plants that I always tell people, if you don't have it in your compound, you are doing yourself a great disservice. I'd rather have these plants in my compound than have datura, known as yellow bush, or some horticultural plants. If you hedge your ocimum and bitter leaf very well, it will make a beautiful edge for you. So just get a few leaves of ocimum, maybe about, if you are preparing maybe 500 mils. 500 mils is your sachet of pure water. You get about 8 leaves of this, and then you get about 10 of this, and you macerate it. You just do it that way, or you can put it in your blender. You can cut it up into bits with your knife. Wash it very well, please. Most of the time I advise people wash with salt. Wash it very well so that you remove the germs, and then blend in 50 mils of water. You may or may not filter it actually, because what you are filtering out is actually the fiber that we have talked about. So if it's well blended, if it's fine enough, you can drink it directly. But if you think that you could choke on the sediments, you might want to just filter it with not too fine sieve. And then you could drink this morning and night. It makes a very, very effective remedy, especially for the itchy sensation felt around the anus. And it also helps with digestion. It's a very fantastic home remedy for the relief of bile, constipation, flatulence, and other bile-related conditions.
Okay. Now that we have this with us, when it comes to sedentary lifestyle, you made mention of we should eat food that fits in with our sedentary lifestyle. But where we are coming from to switch into changing our diets, and based on the times when people say money to get a certain diet, what would you advise?
Now, the thing is this, a lot of people usually complain about difficulty in adjusting to a new dietary pattern. But I always tell them this when I counsel. You have to make a choice between having to visit the hospital due to preventable illnesses, or switching your diet and having, you know, a healthy life. If you are a sedentary person, you don't walk around much, you shouldn't be having heavy meals, especially at night. And when you have your breakfast, make sure that your breakfast is very rich in vegetables that will give you fiber. You could do a lot of cornmeal, you know, but when you process your corn, make sure that you don't throw away the chaff, because that's actually the fiber that you're throwing away. You could do some bread, just a little bit of bread, depending on if you do not have any health challenge that you're dealing with. Now, eat enough in the morning to last you a few hours into the afternoon. If you have your meal by like 7 a.m., 7:30 in the morning, you should be having if you have your breakfast about that time, you should be having your lunch about 1:32. And by the time you're having your lunch, make sure that it contains yet a lot of vegetables. But in this part of the world, we like to eat and have a bulge in our tummy. It is not right to fill up your stomach sac to the maximum capacity. Eat just enough to sustain you, not what will stretch your stomach muscles. And by evening, just eat light. A glass of juice with, you know, some slices of bread or some slices of yam or eko and efo, you know, all of these very lovely light meals that abound in our African diet is just fine. Always learn to eat light, especially when you don't have to do anything heavy. Now, when you eat in the morning, exercise is very important. The purpose of exercise, it not only tones our muscles and keeps us healthy, it helps us to burn the fuel from our food as well, because if you don't burn it, it will sit in your body as fat and make you obese, or, you know, bring up other diseases. So for sedentary people, you need to adjust your diet to something light.
And now that we talked about saint leaf and this bitter leaf for mixing it together to treat bile or to prevent,
To manage and prevent.
Yes. Now the major issue is we still have it into some of our meals. So if we have it in some of our meals, is it still advisable that we should still get on with drinking it?